Here's the claim. If justice isn't rooted in God's law, it will always collapse. You have to admire the modern justice system. It's very flexible. If someone ordinary does something wrong, justice arrives quickly, very efficient, almost impressive. If someone powerful does something wrong, well, we start a conversation. Panels are formed. Statements are issued. Justice books a consultation, as it were. You have to appreciate that we're very passionate about justice. Curious, isn't it? Because if we're just really advanced pond scum with Wi-Fi, that is, evolved primordial goo, why does injustice offend us so deeply? Why do we instinctively cry, "Oh, that's not fair"? Fair according to whom? Solomon once observed that when wrongdoing wasn't dealt with properly, people grow bold in doing evil. Have you noticed the boldness lately? Worldly justice is loud, selective, temporary, but divine justice is much slower, unavoidable, patient, impartial, which we might say is slightly terrifying. So before we shout out about who deserves punishment, perhaps we should ask, by what standard? By what standard? Because really that's the real issue. We don't actually disagree about whether justice matters or not. What we disagree about is who gets to define it, what gets to define it. If justice is defined by culture, it's going to shift.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
If it's defined by power, it's going to bend. If it's defined by outrage, it'll swing wildly. But if it's defined by God, it will stand. Tonight, we're not here to really defend personalities. We're not trying to speculate about headlines. We're here to ask a much deeper question. What is the difference between worldly justice and divine justice? And what happens to society when it rejects the latter? All right, here we are. We're back.
Here we are. We're back. Back for the go at it.
And we have added some new upgrades to the studio, so that's good. King's Truth Teller Society. We got a whole wall full of a wall of fools, as my mom calls it.
The wall of fools. I like that.
Should have put my kids' pictures up.
Had our kids up there at the very top.
Yeah, exactly. Dad, why is my picture up there? Oh, bro, you fit right in.
Wall of fools, I mean.
You fit right in. But yeah, apologize for the cameras. Last time I watched the video, so I did all the editing, and as I'm editing it, I'm like, oh my gosh, man, my focus was off, my light was all blown out, and hopefully this looks a lot better now. I had to do some serious grinding to get it dialed in, but I hope that this new setup is going to be a huge blessing, because now once we have everything figured out, we just jump right in and hit record, So
plug and play and go.
Huge. It's awesome. Like, this is such
way brighter.
Way brighter. Yeah, before I had it set, yeah. Lighting was off.
falling asleep before.
Greg was ready to pass. That's funny.
I'm like, what are we doing? The camera's still on? Yeah.
Right, yeah. That's funny. He's like, hey, Greg, it's not, oh, it's long dated. Yeah. So what I want to talk about, what Greg and I decided we wanted to talk about is there's obviously this big hoopla about the Epstein files and them being released. And something popped in, listening to, I listen to Al Mohler, the Daily Briefing, which is, I highly recommend it. The Steve Deace show, right? And these guys are all talking about what's going on with these Epstein files and all these people who are being exposed. And one thing that stood out to me was the prince, well, formerly known as the prince, British royalty, King Charles III's 65-year-old brother.
Now he is simply known as
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor.
Yeah.
Not the. I think he was a baron before.
Stripped of all his sweet royal titles.
Yeah, so he can't be king anymore. Good. I guess that's how that works. But
yeah,
and all of his benefits. There's some pretty huge perks of being in the royal family. And I just thought about that. And I'm like, okay, here's a guy who's they don't even. there's been no guilt pronouncement. Now there's some pretty like crazy stuff.
He's denying everything.
Well, there's pictures and stuff, but
Basically, yeah.
I mean, man, with AI today and stuff, you got to be really careful with those kind of things. You could ruin someone's life, you know what I mean? And that's something I wanted to talk about. Like, I think it's really important to understand the difference between divine justice, what we would know as a retributional and restorative justice, versus whatever other justice system is out there. We call it a worldly justice system, right? And so here's this guy, and I'm thinking about it, and everybody's outraged about it. They got these sketchy pictures with him and some chick, like she's laying on the floor or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that's creepy,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, I'm thinking it's really important that we just don't jump to conclusions,
Right.
And I think I want to dive more into that. What's the difference between, biblical justice and divine justice and worldly justice? I mean, what are your thoughts like on what's going on with all that? Like,
I mean, like we were talking earlier, it's like, yeah, we live in a culture to where people are just like guilty,
immediately,
immediately beforehand. I think that way at times, and I have to check myself.
You gotta wait a minute.
Oftentimes, yeah. I mean, we're sitting around eating dinner, one of my kids is like, oh, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. And they're going in, and I'm like, well, hold on a second here.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me share this perspective with you. It's like, have they been found guilty with this? No.
Right.
God set up a system, to pronounce people guilty of crimes, beyond all reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
Right. Like they say.
Yeah. So we want to talk about what does that look like? How, just some basic principles. We're not going to go in crazy detail. And then finally at it all, like when I'm thinking of these things and people are discussing this stuff on social media, right? And stuff's all blown up. And I look at social media. Some of you might look at it and go, I don't know. I don't want to get involved in that. I want you to start thinking of social media in a totally different way. Because that's how my wife thinks. She's like, oh, I hate social media. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just share pictures of my kids and stuff. I don't want to deal with any of the controversial stuff out there. And I respect that, But at the same time, I look at it as a tremendous platform.
It's a marketplace of ideas.
It's the marketplace of ideas.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My wife's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
Sure.
One of the attractions to me and my wife is never seen a single selfie.
That's true. I can't say I've ever seen a selfie of your wife.
Decade plus.
Your wife be like,
yeah. New nails.
Yeah.
I'm like, none of that, bro.
Yeah, no selfies.
Yep. I love you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. But the reason I bring that up, I want to think about, okay, these are things that people are talking about. These are things that are important to people. How then do we now present the gospel based on these types of conversations? Like people are talking, Epstein obviously is just, that guy's been in the limelight for a long time, even after he's, passed post-mortem, right?
Yep.
And it's been like,
it's a popular guy.
A long time coming to wait for these files to be released. And you remember the whole drama between Elon Musk and Trump, right? And
oh, yeah.
That was weird.
Elon Musk calling him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you run the island, this and stuff. Like, whoa, dude. And then like all of a sudden, hey, are we bros now?
Yeah, we bros again?
Yeah.
Hey, man. But you know what? To Elon's credit, he did apologize.
Yeah.
He admitted that he overreacted.
Right.
But the thing, okay, and that's exactly what I want to talk about. Like you were saying, we can all overreact. Like this is something that
just rare too. Like I didn't see the reconciliation coming with them. You know what I mean?
Me neither.
We're so used to seeing like fallouts, and
right?
At least publicly, anyways.
Right.
People, of presidential status and Elon status, and then like just poof, and that's it. It's done.
Right.
Because he said some crazy stuff.
He did say something like pretty messed up, man. Like,
yeah. They'd be like, if you, my friend, you're saying something, whoa, bro, this guy now hates me.
Right.
I
mean, and Trump, like, I'm actually a little surprised. Like, Trump comes to me like a pretty hard dude. Like, he's not going to be a quick one to forgive.
Right.
But even in that, like, Trump shook his hand publicly, made it clear, like, yeah, man, like, we're good. Like, and maybe not, like, maybe that was for the cameras. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
I think what's important in that, okay, all this exposure comes out and it's immediately like that person's definitely guilty.
Right.
And everybody just starts losing their minds, right? Everybody starts immediately accusing people. There's just these accusations flying left and right. How, are we supposed to deal with accusations biblically? How do we deal with
not jump to conclusions.
No, we're not. Absolutely not jump to conclusions.
The scriptures are clear in terms of witnesses.
Right. Yeah, we're going to get into that.
know? Yeah, I mean, dude, look at, Deuteronomy, also reiterated in Matthew in terms of, ecclesiastical law.
Right.
Right. Needing to be witnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. These days it's like, yep, no, you're guilty, man.
I've even had a brother who I love, and I will not mention his name, but say to me, "You are guilty until proven innocent."
Yeah,
I'm like,
you remember you sharing that with me.
That is so unbiblical.
Yeah.
That is the furthest thing from biblical.
That's not a biblical view.
But we do have an idea. I mean, and I understand that. Like I think it's the cry out for justice. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We're image bearers of God. And so we immediately cry out for justice on the inside. We want to see justice done. We want to see it meted out, And here's something, guys, just think about this. When you're talking to someone and they're not a Christian, they're not a believer, and their heart is crying out for justice, that's a cool opportunity to just go, okay, what do you
put your finger on it?
Right there. Why do you think we have such a desire, a longing for justice? Where do you think that comes from?
Right.
It's a great question to ask people who aren't Christians. Because think about it, it's like you have this desire, this demand on the inside for justice, but you deny Christ, you reject God's word, you believe that in some cases that we've just evolved over billions of years, and via empathy, which is the way I've heard it explained, over billions of years, via empathy, this is how value systems have evolved over time. And it's very utilitarian and beneficial, whatever works best for the group in the sense, right? And it's like we talked about last time in the last episode, that doesn't help the unbeliever, by the way.
No.
To say that you can see that in the animal kingdom doesn't help.
Listen to that Joe Rogan. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
I've heard it a bunch of times now. I was like, man, you sound so dumb.
Yeah. We see gay
Very
stuff.
smart and many other things, but yeah, we see gay stuff.
We see gay stuff in the animal kingdom. You
Gay
hear that
stuff humans, that's why. Well, no, dude.
Actually not.
Yeah, no.
Wrong. And if you were truly a true Darwinist, an evolutionary Darwinist, you'd realize that that's a severe flaw.
Right.
Just in survival, that's a very unfit way to go about your sexual activities because you're not procreating.
Right.
It's pretty crazy. Like it's straightforward.
To the detriment of your family, your closest loved ones. And
you have no family.
Yeah. Families everywhere.
Yeah.
Spreading seed throughout the earth. Yeah.
And you'd be left.
The animals.
You're left behind. Yeah. I mean, So anyway, just because you see it in the animal kingdom doesn't make it right either, by the way.
I was going to share too, there's a guy by the name of Mike Benz who was recently on Rogan, I think about a month ago. Weeks ago to a month ago anyways. But he is a state official. And he talked a lot about the Epstein files.
Oh, okay.
It was interesting, the perspective that he had because, he just shared a lot of insight, as far as the CIA involvement, activity there. That dude was a high level, guy and had relationships all over the world. Crazy network. And to be honest, I'm listening to him going, it's really, really, really interesting, even as far as the CIA, how the CIA works. I didn't realize that the CIA is funded entirely by bad money, by dirty money, 100%.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he goes, why? Because you think of the saying, follow the money.
Oh yeah.
You can't follow the money in a CIA operation because all that money is used. It's illegal money.
Yeah.
Drug money. Unclean money.
You see that?
Isn't that crazy?
You see that represented in the Bourne series.
Yeah.
The Bourne Identity, the Bourne Supremacy.
Yep.
Those guys they're involved in all kinds of horrific things and exchanging money for information. And
it all makes sense now to me. I've seen Narcos.
Oh, yeah.
I know how this stuff works.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, that makes perfect sense.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So there you have it. But yeah, he also said too, which is interesting because Joe Rogan's like, isn't the main thing with that guy? He was just a, sick bastard and underage girls and that kind of stuff. But Mike Benz is like, well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
He was like, his perspective was he thought that was kind of blown way out of proportion, actually. What he said was young girls, probably 18, young
Mhm.
ish, but not like some sources are saying, way younger,
Yeah,
kind of thing. Which that's the first time I've heard that
me too.
was from, here's a dude who's a state official, and he's just sharing all kinds of stuff. So really interesting.
It goes deeper, and
Yeah.
I believe that in a lot of ways that's a distraction. That's intentional. They want to build a narrative in a particular, it's a misdirection is usually I think that's the right way to refer to it.
And that's kind of what he was saying.
Counter intel.
They know people are going to focus on this thing. The guy's a monster.
Because they're gonna be morally outraged by it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to focus on that one thing. And so
Oh, dude.
I'm knocking everything. over, bro.
It's on now,
I
bro.
can't move.
It's not right, dude, until
Yeah.
Greg's throwing down something, dude. It's okay.
I cannot move. I'm afraid to touch this thing.
That's funny.
Yeah, this is a nice place, though.
We'll have fix. We'll figure it out. We'll dial it in so you can actually hit some stuff without
Sandbags on these things.
sandbags.
Yeah, I just learned that.
Yeah, that's funny. But no, you're right. I think that it's important to recognize that there's misdirection that could be happening. We don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know about what's going on there. And I am very what did it say? What's the word? Skeptical, but then there
Leery?
well, it's I have a healthy skepticism
Sure.
of our media. I have a healthy skepticism of the information that is leaked out. My brother was in counterintelligence for years, and he would tell me this stuff like that they would do intentionally to misdirect people and to change focus on things. And
Right.
it's like a magician, right? Like, they're misdirecting you over here while they're sleight of hand over here.
And look how fast, like Minnesota, for example.
Oh,
It
yeah.
went from corruption, daycare, all these billions of dollars, and all of a sudden, silence on that.
What's up with that? Yeah.
ICE.
Let's talk about,
It's about ICE, immigrants, people dying.
And
And that's what people want to talk about.
it's the moral outrage thing.
Right.
Love the immigrant. Like, why, our country was built on immigration, so they focus on all this stuff. When you have radical injustice happening, and that's exactly what I'm getting at. So how do we deal with this? Like, and the Epstein, man, that stuff is just like a lot of people are being brought into the limelight, if you will, and it's destroying people's lives, bro.
It was like 3 million documents, right?
Mhm.
Something like that.
It's destroying people's lives.
Right.
We better get it right. Like, this is not something that's like a simple thing that you could just wave a magical wand over. People's lives are going to be ruined.
I saw I was just scrolling today, doom scrolling, right?
Doom scrolling.
Yeah, I was doom scrolling.
My kids do.
So I was scrolling today. I saw, I think it might have been the Gazette, maybe, not 100% sure, but talked about Pam Bondi saying that if everybody, something to the effect of if everybody in the Epstein files was indicted, our country would just fall apart.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's a wild statement.
Because of how compromised people are.
Right.
But does that shock you? Is that something that surprise you?
No.
Doesn't surprise me one bit.
No.
Yeah. People love, bro, the corruption. And it's like a chocolate covered poop, man. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It looks great on the outside until you bite into it. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
It's what it is. Like, our nation is chocolate covered poop. You heard it here.
Yeah.
It's stinky, but it looks great on the outside, sprinkles on top and stuff.
Right.
But it's horrifically corrupt.
It's like a churro.
It's like a churro.
Churro.
It's corrupt through and through. And to say it's not, you're not paying attention.
Right. Yeah.
Your eyes are not open.
What's crazy about that is our country is probably the least corrupt, if you will.
I think it's corrupt in different ways.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons the fighting against the corruption is it has to do with the Christian witness, has to do with the permeation of the gospel, has to do with the last remnant of something relative to Christianity in this country.
Right.
There's still strong believers, in this country, very strong believers. And they tend to hang out on the sidelines until they're really poked. But when the bear gets poked, they
Yeah.
And oftentimes, sadly, it's too late in some cases.
I'm thankful for COVID, right? Like the aftermath of that.
Oh, yeah.
I hear story after story of people's eyes being opened.
Yeah.
Right? That was corrupt.
Right.
And thank God for that.
And then you saw the pushback.
Yep.
And you saw that there's been some really great changes there, right? A lot of stuff changed. changed, and it encouraged people to go, wow, wait a minute. Like, one, I need to get involved, like politically speaking. I need to be involved in civics. I want to make a difference and seek the welfare of my city, my state, my nation. But local politics is where you can make the biggest changes. Your city council and in your, just think about the experiences we've had by being involved in our caucus. How many conversations we've had with people who are running for office that like were dramatically changed just based on one conversation we had with them.
They had like no clue about certain things.
Yeah. But here are people now that are in some cases in office.
Yeah.
And we were able to, for lack of better terms, there was discipleship happening. Just brothers and sisters in Christ. We're just sharing ideas with each other, pointing each other to scripture. And man, next thing you know, hearts and minds are changed.
Yeah, one legislator's calling me like weeks later.
Yeah.
Hey man, I really appreciate the conversation. You got me thinking. Right. And on the phone we're talking, and he says, he mentions the tranny, Tatone.
Uh-huh. I don't know. I can't remember the name. Yeah.
Yeah. The one that sat on the right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And how he spoke up to Tone.
Okay.
At some sort of, thing. And he called him a she. And I go, hey, bro. I said, listen, man.
Don't do it.
Don't fall into that trap.
Don't bow the knee to that.
I talked to this guy for like an hour and he was like, hey, thanks, man. Like, this was a great conversation. Yeah. You got me really thinking.
Yeah. A lot of people would see that as being insensitive. I just had a conversation with a bro on the Lord's Day, this Lord's Day, wanting to be respectful of his coworker who's a transgender. If they want me to call me by their chosen name, I will. And I'm like, well, not if those chosen names have gender identity in them.
Yeah.
If homeboy was Bill and now he's Karen, like,
I'm going with Smith, dude. Your last name's Smith?
Smith.
Hey, Smith.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to avoid, especially at work. But I did say, one of the things.
That's a plug to the chaplain, bro. Prison system. He goes, nah, man, last names.
That's a good one. I like that.
I'm like,
that's really good.
That's pretty wise.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's really smart because then now you're not having to worry about.
Call me Brenda Gonzalez. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And if you have a hyphenated name,
no, we'll not doing that. Too. Yeah. We'll do all the hyphens, bro. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, getting off track. I just I think it's really important that. And I'm sure you guys all wrestle with this. I know I do. I know these conversations come up in our family, even my kids and stuff. Like, how do we reconcile this cry out for justice? Like, what do we do?
Yeah.
It seems like, man, our society is pretty much like we're in an interesting spot, dude, societally.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
When you think about, like, it just seems like at any given moment, bro, something's going to snap, bro, and you're going to have riots in cities and buildings being burned down. And it's the difference between divine justice and worldly justice. Divine justice will always, if properly executed, and I'll explain what I mean by divine justice here shortly, but if properly executed, and we seek to just be faithful to God's word in there, will usher peace.
Yeah,
it'll bring peace. Any other worldly justice, and I'm going to use scare quotes, so falsely so-called justice, it's not justice. It'll always be injustice. It always has a victim in there, multiple victims in most cases. I'm just going to use this one, the glaring issue, abortion.
Yeah.
Right? The idea of justice in the world's mind is the mother gets to choose, and now there's a victim. An unborn child loses their life because a mother gets to choose, right? And then they make up all their excuses as to why that's perfectly fine. But a child loses their life. And that's a really good example of how, in their mind, true justice, to the extent in our state, they changed the Constitution to consider abortion an essential human right.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah.
And they push hard for that. And in their mind, that's justice. Justice was served in the sense that we're now doing the right thing for mothers.
Right.
In the pro-life, you guys listen to Apologia for any amount of time. In the pro-life movement, the reason why abortion hasn't been ended yet, they're crushing all of the abolition bills that are put in. The pro-life movement is because of a justice issue.
Yeah. I was listening to Apologia today, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's unjust to punish the mother in their minds. because the mother they think is a victim when the mother is intentionally killing the child.
Yeah.
So it's a justice issue in their mind. True justice will be, let's put an end to it, but we're not going to punish the mother.
Yeah.
Right.
I was thinking about this today too. As I was just listening to that, I'm like, in a sense, you whittle it down, and it's like the pro-life establishment. They're going to say, yeah, we're not going to put an abolitionist bill in because we need to have the mother. The mother can't be. What's the saying? Immunity and impunity, right?
Immunity and impunity, right?
Yeah, she should not be charged with anything. She's a victim. But at the same time, what they're elevating, so they're elevating the status of the mother above human life, period.
Right.
It's like that's what it's whittled down to.
Right.
At least from the pro-life establishment perspective. They're choosing this over this. Like, hey guys, if you don't vote for this, you don't go this direction, more babies are gonna die today.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, well, we need to have the mother, going off scot-free kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Always a victim in worldly justice systems.
Yeah.
Always. And the victim never receives justice. Another good example of that is like in our country, and I know every state is different, but for the most part, it's pretty consistent across the board. If you steal something from someone, you don't necessarily have to, you don't have to pay them back. You end up getting fined by the state and you go to jail. And then you basically become a slave of the system.
And who becomes an additional victim?
The state.
Well, the taxpayers.
The taxpayer becomes exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So
still the state, yeah.
In biblical law, the thief would have to repay up to 4 times, right?
Yeah.
Tenfold. Is it tenfold?
I think 4 times was max, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for things like if you killed somebody's animal, ox or whatever that was used for work.
Sure.
Or whatnot. It's like you're taking from their livelihood.
Well, if you stole it from them,
yeah,
you would absolutely have to reimburse them for the labor they lost.
Right. Yeah.
Lost labor.
Lost
wages. Let's say you weren't able to plant your fields in time or plow them, and that means you're not.
It's a big loss. Yeah.
Huge loss because now you lost a harvest.
Right.
So they would have to restore that 4 times, right? And if they couldn't do that, you guys, they'd become an indentured servant, contractually bound, covenantally bound by the courts for 7 years minimum, right?
Not in jail, not in prison.
They didn't go to jail. Yeah, they weren't paid. And they went to go work for the person. And if they couldn't work for them, like to work it off, like they couldn't afford to do it, they would make arrangements otherwise. They'd come up with an honest wage of what this person was capable of doing and how they could help their household. And they would be... they'd give him room and board and everything.
Like this was a few hundred years ago, and you see some fool walk by the cameras, like, "Who's that?" It's my slave, dude. That's my indentured servant.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, he's treated well. He stays in this room. He's taken care of. But
we feed him.
Tomorrow, he's building my car.
Yeah,
he has a job, dude.
Absolutely,
he's cleaning up the dog poop. He's cooking, cleaning.
Absolutely,
he's now part of the family.
And you know what's interesting?
But only for the next year, right?
Because 7 years, or it depends on if they paid off the contract faster. If they decided,
depends on what it is. Yeah.
If they decided at the end of the 7-year term, they wanted to become a permanent member of the family by remaining a slave, they could have. But my point in all this is that the actual victim receives restoration. It's retributive and it's restorative, right? But in the worldly systems, the taxpayers become victims. They start having to pay for these fools wearing an orange jumpsuit, getting 3 square meals a day, reading sweet books all day, and they're sometimes watching TV. Come on, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Creating license plates, dude, banging those things out. And again, where does that money go?
They're pretty much a slave of the state.
To the state, pretty much.
Oh yeah, all that money, all the revenue goes to the state. So they become an indentured servant of the state.
Right.
The state gives them room and board, but they work for the state. And a lot of times they just learn how to be better criminals in that system. I like what Ecclesiastes says. Solomon nails it. He says that if evil is not punished speedily and rightly, people become more bold in doing wrong. They become lawless people, right? Justice is delayed, it's ignored or twisted, and encourages lawlessness.
Think of that in the home.
Right.
For those who have little kids.
That's a perfect example.
You can watch and see, patterns of kids. And it's like, Oh, I've seen him. He did that yesterday. Okay. Now I'm going to get him. Now I'm going to, spank him, whatever. Like, show the rod, so to speak. Had me thinking too, as I was, thinking about this just today. California had this law that like you can steal up to $950.
Right.
Remember that?
Yes.
I was cracking up when I listened to Elon Musk about that, but yeah, you can still I think it was like $950 in California, and it'd be a misdemeanor.
Right.
They had to create an additional law that essentially said, it had a provision, and it got passed last year, but had a provision for people who were like, multiple crime, multiple offense, sort of criminals or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot worse for them. And, they had to make an additional law on top of the law because of all these videos you see of people rolling into, Walgreens, CVS, just jacking all kinds of stuff. Like,
did I tell
walking scot-free. Yeah,
did I tell you the story about when I was going to pick up a prescription for my wife at Walgreens?
Maybe.
Okay, so I'm in line. It's a massive line. You're standing there forever.
I think you did tell me this.
And there's this dude. He cruises up, and he's not in line or anything. He's looking in the. I just thought he was there shopping, right? He's just there.
Oh, he is shopping.
Shoplifting.
That fool was shopping, dude.
Okay, you guys, like this guy walks in. He is not in any way, shape, or form hiding anything. He takes his backpack off. He opens up the glass door, and he's like, he's kind of deciding between two. And he's like, I'm both, puts them in his backpack. I went, he's just totally stealing.
Crazy.
We're all watching him. There must have been 20 or so people all standing in line, just mesmerized watching this guy steal. He excuse me, he squeezes in between me and this other guy. And he goes to this shelf that was right behind me on the other side, and he just starts offloading his into the backpack.
Oh man!
And I'm like,
just all like medications and stuff.
No, it was food. It was
in
the food area. We were all standing in line for the pharmacy.
Yeah.
And he's just dumping all this food in his backpack. And so I'm like, excuse me. I go, can you hang on a second? Can I get my spot back? They're like, sure. I walk right over to the front desk and go, hey, there's this guy and he's not hiding anything. He's stealing right now. And they're like, yeah, we know. And I'm like, oh, do you want me to do something? Do you want me to stop him? Oh, no, definitely don't do that. We're not allowed to, actually. They're allowed to come in here and steal. We actually have that figured out. Managers just let them go. Because they're so concerned, bro, about lawsuits. If you injure them or if you say something to them or whatever. So they're concerned about being sued for stopping someone from stealing from them.
Yeah.
Right?
Unreal.
Oh my gosh, bro. And they're like, yeah, and you know what? Guess what's happening now, guys? You can see Walgreens closing down everywhere.
Yeah.
Because justice isn't being upheld.
Lawlessness is ruling the day. Yeah. It's crazy.
I counted 3 the other day that I drove by. They used to be open and they're all boarded up now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And guess who the victims are in this case? Guess who the theft, the cost of that gets passed on to?
The consumer.
The consumer.
Yeah.
Because the businesses still need to stay profitable, right? So
everything goes up.
You guys, so if you wonder why cost of goods costs so much money, we got all these people stealing, right? And why not? I mean, gosh, man, I can just keep going, dude, on this stuff.
I mean, do people still at Costco? Look at the people at the front, dude. Yeah, how does that work when somebody steals at Costco?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what their policy is.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I haven't either. Not that I'm aware of.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
receipt checkers.
In a lawless situation, society breaks down. Society cannot succeed or continue in a unbiblical justice system. So just call it a prophetic prediction. We're on our way downhill unless some radical things change and more Christians get involved. People are opposed to Christian nationalism. Let's just scare quote that one real quick. You guys, I'm not a Christian nationalist by any means. I'm a Christian globalist. Christ is king. And I want to see Christ honored in our society.
Christian great commissionist.
I'm a great commissionist. Yeah.
As it relates to all things, even politics.
I'm not, and I do love our nation. Love our nation. I've grown up here my whole life. I've been to other countries. I love our nation. You should go to other countries if you haven't been outside of it and go check out how their justice system works.
Right.
Lawless for the most part, horrible. I've been to Africa. Just wouldn't recommend it. Never go back because of that very reason.
You don't go on a little mini vacation to Uganda?
Nope, never again. ever. One of the things that I experienced right when I got off the plane there was lawlessness. It just, you see it everywhere. Like, dude, there's no order here. It's chaos.
Yeah, and it creates fear. Just it's a fearful society.
Yeah, there's no calling the police.
Yeah, who wants that?
Huh.
I left Walmart today. I saw a little old lady with a shopping cart, and it just came to my mind. I'm like, these scumbags that would go and like bash some lady like that, just a frail,
crazy.
Yeah, I'm like,
wow.
That kind of stuff goes down when I'm out there, man. I'm somebody's gonna
get lit up.
Somebody's gonna get sprayed, punched, hurt.
Bro, if I saw that, that person's, I'm gonna have to restrain killing them. Like, and I mean that because I have just such a heart for the elderly. And they're image bearers of God, and I would have to restrain like being raged, like just furious at someone. Like it's like someone hitting a little kid.
Yeah,
it's like that, right? That elderly person can't protect themselves.
Our society's so cowardly.
They are cowardly. Most people wouldn't even defend that person. They just watch it happen. They probably even pull their phones out and just record it.
Yeah.
Whoa, you know,
it's terrible.
And our kids doom scroll it and
share it,
tweet it, whatever. Yeah. Or what is it? Twitch it, or not Twitch? TikTok.
Are tweets still tweets? They're still tweets.
Are they tweets? They're X.
X now. Yeah. what are they even called?
I don't know.
Tweets. I think. You see my X's? Yeah. pretty tore up.
So divine justice, okay, it's rooted in God's word. We already said that, and it protects the innocent. It doesn't create more victims. It protects the innocent. And retribution and restorational. Why is that so important? And I know a lot of people have pushback on this. They're like, well, you know, I've heard it. I can't tell you how many times. Like, almost like you talk to 5 Christians, you're going to get 6 different ethics.
Right.
Because we even as Christians debate on the continuity of God's law.
Sure.
But the one thing that we cannot disagree upon is what Jesus said. The fulfillment of God's law is love of God and love of neighbor. So it's on us. This is how I can't tell you how many times I've said this to fellow Christians. It's on us to figure out what that looks like.
Yeah, if you love your neighbor and your neighbor's stolen from, you're going to want to see your neighbor made whole.
Correct.
And you're not going to want to see the dude who stole from your neighbor have his hand cut off.
Right.
It's lex talionis, right? The equal weights and measures.
Right. Yeah. So you want to, exactly. So that's an important part. Let's just dive right in.
Yeah.
The truth matters. Think about that. The truth matters to God. You have to tell the truth. You can't falsely accuse someone. False accusations. It's called lying, and it's violating one of the commandments. You can't lie about someone.
Yeah.
You know, in biblical law, what would happen if you lied about this person? Like, let's say they raped me, because it happens all the time. This person raped me, right?
The crime that the alleged rapist, the punishment of that crime would have applied to the liar
if they found out that person was lying.
Yeah,
that person, and according to retributional and restorative justice, you can't restore someone in there's no restoration possible when someone's been raped.
Right.
And so
there's no amount of money you can give. I was telling my son this. We're having lunch.
Yeah.
Eating some tacos on the way home from church. And I was just like, talking about murder and stuff like that. So there's no amount of money you can give somebody if your life was taken from me.
Right.
You know, there's no amount of money that can be paid to somebody who, commits adultery, destroys their family.
Yeah.
And everything else. There's nothing that can be paid for that.
Nothing that can be done. That's why.
Penalty.
Exactly. Anything that where restoration isn't possible, receive the death penalty.
Right.
Murder, rape, human trafficking, so man theft, actual stealing, man stealing.
Yep.
Things where there's just no possibility of restoration. And so death penalty is there. And a lot of Christians wrestle with that. They say, well, like, death penalty, bro, we're supposed to be forgiving and loving and, and it's like, no. What does the scripture say? Show no pity.
Yeah.
Show no pity. If someone kills someone, their life is required of them.
It's actually mentioned a lot in the Old Testament, like word study wise.
Show no pity.
Show no pity, like over and over and over again with certain things. Why? Because God knows the people that want to, show the empathy, right? In wrong scenarios. It's just
And what happens with that?
godless and empathy.
But what happens with godless sympathy when we show when we show pity to someone who's taken the life of someone else, and they get to stay alive and they get to sit and rot in a prison?
Bad stuff.
Well, it creates more victims.
Yeah.
It creates more problems. It doesn't solve the problem. So here's the thing: a way of looking at the death penalty. That is a direct submission of this individual to the great white throne judgment. So since we can't come up with a resolution, there's no ultimate justice now needs to be meted out. You need to face your creator.
Yeah. Genesis 9, God says, send him to me.
Send him to me.
Send him my way.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then, and I'm not saying, obviously, I don't think anywhere we can really say it's been practiced perfectly, but in ancient times where Christians, the prevailing worldview was a biblical worldview, they would usually assign a chaplain to a person who was going to get the death penalty, on the walk and on the way to the gallows, man. And they would,
I think they still do. People can reject them, but
sure.
Yeah.
They offered him though.
They offer them, yeah.
And so that chaplain would preach the gospel to the person because it's like, hey, you don't want to have to face your creator outside of Christ.
Right.
Right. So, yeah.
It's not going to be good.
Not a good day for you, man. No, you want to repent and believe the gospel because you're about to face your creator.
I think my hat says, you guys need to see this, it says, make the death penalty great again. No, I'm just kidding. red hat, dude. I just thought of that.
Oh, Greg's wearing a MAGA hat. I know it.
No, I guess that'd be make the death penalty great again. Yeah, it'd be a little bit different. But
Think about it. Evidence matters. Witnesses matter.
yeah.
No one is above the law. That's what I love the Lex Rex, right? The law is king. And this is a big deal, guys. Like going back in like pre-English common law and knowing the history of our justice, of our system, and knowing that Christians were the ones that really advanced this idea and concept that even the king themselves, a monarch wasn't allowed to be a tyrant. A monarch was just as accountable to the law as the common person,
Right.
his subjects or her subjects, right, depending on
Right.
king or queen.
I mean, look what God's word said, in terms of kings, like they were given a copy of the law.
Yeah.
And they were to read it.
They were to read it.
They were to understand it.
They were to write it, right?
Right.
Yeah, they had to write their own copy of the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're accountable to this. I mean, to David's credit, even when he committed adultery with Bathsheba, he knew and repented. He instead of killing Nathan,
Right.
right?
He could have. That'd been bad. But yeah.
Right. But the thing is, like, even David knew he wasn't above the law.
Right.
Did David write Psalm 119?
I believe so.
Okay. There you go. If David, I can't remember who the author was, but if he wrote Psalm 119, I'm pretty sure he did.
Questioning now, but yeah.
I'm wondering. Yeah, I can't remember offhand. But longest chapter in the Bible, Psalm 119, and it's all about God's law and meditating on it, being obedient to it, walking in it, that it brings life, all this stuff, right? So Greg's fact checking right now.
I want to know now.
Yeah. The innocent in divine justice and biblical justice is the innocent must be protected.
So the author is not explicitly named.
Okay. But it could be.
According to Google anyways.
Yeah, I was wondering that because I don't recall. I don't recall it being.
I was thinking too, potentially multiple authors.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that could be possible.
Yeah.
For sure.
From what I heard or
David's
read,
known as the Psalter, so.
Some point in time, yeah.
Yeah.
Asaph, wrote some Psalms.
He did. So I wasn't sure if 119 was something he did. But yeah, think about it. God cares deeply about justice. He cares about the vulnerable, victims. It's victim oriented. He cares about abuse and exploitation. He cares about life and preserving it. He cares about peace and order. If you think about really contentious chapter in the Bible that's often discussed in this is Romans 13.
Yeah.
I think one thing important to key in there in Romans 13 is it's the minister, the language minister, and which is why, by the way, they're called that in England, ministers of justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prime minister.
Same word for deacon, right?
Same word for deacon. Prime minister, Ministry of Justice, all these ministries. It's interesting. Like all of their governmental offices are ministries, right?
Which you don't hear at all here in the United States.
We don't think of it that way. Yeah.
I mean, it's still in England.
However, you do call police officers what? Peace officers.
Peace officers, yeah.
Because they're to uphold peace.
Right.
And they can only do that based on a standard of righteousness, right? They do not bear the sword for no reason. They're to be ministers of the good. They're to uphold righteousness, right? And it's oftentimes like, you think, you go, well, yeah, they should be doing that. Okay, well, what's the standard of goodness? Who's discipling them?
Yeah.
If they're a bunch of unbelievers, who's discipling them?
Who's the prophetic witness?
Hey, minister, did you know that you are responsible to maintain peace and uphold justice according to righteous standards? And that's God's word?
Yep.
Yeah, you can't. No, you don't get to make up your own version of what you think good is. Because, by the way, when you do that, you're encouraging chaos in society. You're not
100%.
maintaining the peace. So when officers, for example, you see this all the time, violate the Constitution, which is our nation's governing document, right? Our law, the highest law. When they violate the Constitution, you're allowed to tell them they're violating the Constitution.
Yeah, so you roll your window down like half an inch and you keep saying over and over again, am I under arrest?
Am I under arrest? Well,
I know some of those people are jacked up, man.
Oh, yeah.
I see some of those videos, but at the same time, I'm like,
that's really funny.
that's super funny too.
Am I under arrest?
Over and over again. I just want to see your license. Like, and some of the cops are really nice too. At the same time, like, I just need to see your license registration, sir. Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?
Am I under arrest? That's really funny. But yeah, if you think about like, they are responsible to maintain the peace and order in society. Our governing authorities' chief responsibility is to maintain peace and order, to protect people,
right?
To protect people's interests, to protect people's property. Like our whole world is upside down right now because people, you said this earlier, the G.K. Chesterton quote, what was that again?
Yeah, he said if something to the effect, if men will not obey 10 commandments, they'll have to obey 10,000 commandments.
Right. Why do I bring that up? Well, it's because we have these 10,000 commandments. Some of them are contradictory of one another. Let me give you another example using the abortion one, just immediately came to mind. In Colorado right now, this was brought up numbers of times when we brought the abolition bill up there to the state capitol. In Colorado law right now, if you are, let's say you're a drunk driver and you hit a car with a pregnant woman in it and you kill them both.
Double murder.
That's 2 counts of manslaughter.
Yeah.
2 counts, not manslaughter. First degree or something like that? Second degree?
I don't know.
Anyway, it's up there. You murdered 2 people in the books in Colorado law right now. And so, like it was Stephanie Luck, I believe. She pointed that she has a legal background, and she's like, if that's in the Colorado law right now, let's just make this true for unborn children. Like,
yeah,
consistency. Yeah, let's be consistent.
There's already laws on the books for murder and what that is.
Yeah. But the 10,000 commandments
category. But yeah, we like 10,000 commandments.
Let's have ones that even contradict each other.
Yeah.
You can't possibly follow them. You guys all have experienced this. You're like, I think it was I heard from a cop. We have relatives in the family and police officers. They're like, there's never any time when like you're out and about in the city, whether you're driving or walking around, you're breaking some law, dude. The cop has probable cause to pull you over. The cop has probable cause to just ask for your license because you're breaking some law, dude.
Some laws.
Everywhere you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't walk there. You're a foot too far to the left.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
License registration.
Oh, give me the license, dude. I have probable cause to tell you. Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy, bro. There's so many laws, man. Anybody's seen legal books, it's nuts, dude. That's why we have lawyers, right? To, ask anybody who's had to deal with a lawyer. Oh
yeah.
And they charge you up the wazoo. Like, it's crazy how much they charge because they have to know all the legalese and the insides out and how it works. And I mean, it's crazy how many laws are out there. God's law is simple. Love of God and love of neighbor, right? 10 commandments.
Obey 10.
10. It's 10.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, all the, 613?
Yeah, laws in the Old
The
Testament.
613 laws of the Old Testament, outside of the covenantal laws that were oriented around the Mosaic covenant, with particularly the sacrificial system, the worship,
Yeah.
and the boundaries of the people. In terms of settling issues with people, all those laws, as it relates to retribution and restoration, extend from, are an application of one of the 10 commandments.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the classic, the parapet around the roof.
The parapet.
You know, like the little wall type of thing around the roof, because back in their time, people hung out cool of the day on their roof.
Hanging out on the roof.
And if you didn't have a little, fence sort of structure set up, and
To tell people this is the edge of the roof.
yeah, one of your homies is drinking some wine, and next thing he falls backwards off while he's cracking up
And
laughing.
he dies.
Dead.
Yeah.
It's like if that happens, well, then you're responsible as a homeowner,
Right.
kind of thing. So that law is tied back to the sixth commandment: shall not murder.
And we would say that,
Positive side is protect life.
yeah, and that same parapet example can be translated to fences around a pool for little kids.
Right.
Yeah. Same idea.
So I like the fact that we don't, and this needs to be pointed out as well. I think it's important. There's not a law that if you have a pool, you have to have a fence around it. That would be part of the 10,000 commands, right?
Mm-hmm.
More so though, if you have a pool and somebody dies in your pool, it's like you're going to be, or a child dies in your pool or whatnot, you're going to be held responsible for
Yes.
it.
So it'd be like, also like a good example of that is elimination of speed limits. And people go, "Oh my gosh, bro, are you crazy?" No, I just don't think you don't need them. Because if you love your neighbor, you're not going to be doing 100 miles an hour in a school zone.
right.
You do 100 miles an hour in a school zone, running lights and stuff. And you hit someone, or you destroy someone's property. All the other things come into place. There will be retribution and there will be restoration.
The most tickets I've ever got.
School zones,
School zones, dude. Yeah, there's never any kids, and then every time I got tickets
which is dumb.
in Texas. Yeah, I used to
Super
heating and air conditioning, driving around all the time, and pulled over.
Yeah. Wife just got pulled over the other day, like a school zone. Some cop just hanging out watching a 4-way stop. "You were a rolling stop." My wife's like, "No, I work here. I know you guys watch this. I did not do a rolling stop. I promise you I didn't do a rolling stop."
I get a ticket every time. Did she
I
get a ticket?
respect, no, she did not.
Oh, see, it's female,
And it was a female
Yeah.
cop.
and it was a female cop too.
Surprising, bro.
Wow.
They give tickets to everybody.
Yeah, well, at the In-N-Out, Garden of the Gods.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to U-turn.
Oh,
This one, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
You got crazy.
Okay, so yeah, I U-turned, dude, in there,
flipped it.
rolled up.
Which is so
And
dumb.
you know what I said? I'm like, "Officer," as soon as he came to my window, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I get tickets every time, dude. I never get off, And I'm like, "Officer, please, man." I just looked at him, I go, "Show me some grace, bro." I'll never do that again. I said, "Look my stuff up. See, I'm not a, I'm not a,
Not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal, man, repeat offender or whatever." And so he's like, he looks at me, he goes, "All right, man, I'll go take a look. I'll be right back." And comes back and goes, "You're good. Just can't do that." I'm like, I know. I didn't even see. Well, it was when the In-N-Out was new too, So anyway,
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, okay, now what if that law I don't think should exist?
there was no cars.
Because you're like micromanaging now, right? With laws. That's why there's 1 billion signs, dude, on like, can't do this, don't do that. You can't do a single U-turn in Colorado Springs. I hate it, bro.
And you get confused and you hit somebody as a result of like, I'm just trying to obey these signs
Right.
and figure things out.
What it should be is if you damage someone's property because you turned a U-turn in front of them or whatever, then you pay.
Indentured servant, perhaps.
You might have to be an indentured servant.
I have no money in the bank. Okay,
And you don't owe the city anything.
You're gonna live with Jeremy.
Yeah, you don't owe the city anything. Like, they're not the victim of you doing an illegal U-turn. Well, we have to pay the police officer. Yeah, they should be maintaining peace, not worried about where I'm turning.
Right.
Get out of here with that, bro. That's stupid. I do U-turn with no cars here. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm not endangering anybody. There's nothing wrong with this.
Yep.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's
Oh,
the
yeah, of
10,000 commandments mentality. But then you're going to have some micromanagers out there who are like, well, if we just left everybody, you mean if everybody had to be actual responsible for their actions and they weren't being micromanaged by a bunch of purple-haired Karens, dude? Like, come on,
Oh,
bro.
we live in the age of liability,
100% liability
you know?
and micromanagement. Just drive around, guys, and look at the $1 billion camera systems now that are sitting at every street corner, dude. They take your picture for doing a rolling stop, dude. Through, it's like, get out of here with that.
You're paying for, by the way.
We're paying for that, man. Why? Because we have to micromanage everybody. Yeah, but if someone was being responsible for their actions, and they injured someone as a result of rolling through a stop sign, well, then they would have to pay for that.
Somebody drives 150 and they hit and kill somebody. Well, now it's like, they're being put to death.
And it's interesting. People would think, well, that sounds lawless. Like, that sounds like you're encouraging a lawless.
You hear on the news, man, a old boy's getting put to death.
And it's a public thing.
Yeah.
There's a public
or
execution.
Guys, today at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, let's say, after work or whatever here in the marketplace, old boy's taking some lashings.
Yeah. He's about to get a little beating. Dude.
Yeah. He was acting crazy, man, drunk, beat some fools up.
I'll be drinking beers watching that. Dude, let's see the lashings, dude.
Turn on the TV. Dude. Yeah,
let's go, dude.
It's Colorado Springs.
That's awesome, man. Lashings in the Springs. It's great. I'm a big fan.
Make the death penalty great again. Make banishment great again.
Public lashings.
Public lashings.
Yeah. Not allowed to.
Restitution.
It's always 40 minus 1, right? 39 minus 1? 40 minus 1.
I think it's 40 minus 1, 39.
Yeah, and then they would do a couple less just to make sure they didn't go over it, right?
Yeah.
Because then the person now doing the lashings could be liable, and they could get lashings.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that would differ depending upon crime and whatnot. I don't know. Hey, so people are watching this and go, all right, lashings. Let's talk about that. How many lashings does one get, dude? You shouldn't do that. That's cruel and unusual punishment.
What's cruel is making up your own rules and creating more victims. That's cruel.
Right.
Yeah. Encouraging lawlessness in society, total societal breakdown because you don't like God's law.
Is cruel.
That's cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah. People lose their lives. People get their stuff stolen more often. People have to defend themselves with weapons. Like, I mean, come on, bro. Like,
few dudes get lashed.
Oh, yeah.
Few death penalty.
Couple public beatings.
Quick and swift
100%.
death penalties.
Yeah, just, of course, in a just court system.
Banishments to Siberia, dude. You lose your American citizenship.
You're not a citizen
gone, bro.
anymore. Yeah. Put you on a boat and float you out
Things
there.
would change pretty quick.
Yeah, 100%. A couple of those. Rapists put to death, human traffickers put to death. What prison system? We don't have that anymore. Like, it's just everybody's dead. Put them all to death. The ones who deserve it, the ones who can't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying kill everybody. I'm just saying
Right, I know.
the ones who deserve a just death penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people sitting in jail right now on taxpayer dollars, rotting, being treated like animals, by the way.
It eliminates
State slaves.
it eliminates the career element of criminality.
Of criminals. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we should probably wrap this up. We're going a little bit more, but I think it's good. I think it's a really important subject because I think the one thing that we hope for is that, okay, I need to start thinking through these things now. But think about this, guys. Okay, you might totally disagree with everything we said. Again, we have the onus, the responsibility of rightly dividing God's words. Yeah, put in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Here's the thing, though. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you don't get God's law right, if you don't have that basic understanding of God's law, and you tell me if I'm wrong, then you're going to have a hard time calling people to repent.
Right.
What are they repenting
Repent of what? Yeah.
What are they turning from?
Exactly.
Yeah. So look at, our buddy Prince, not former Prince, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Okay.
He's just simply, I like how you put simply in there.
Yeah.
He's just simply Andrew now. Right?
Simply Andrew now.
Just Andy.
What do you do there? How do you, if you were to talk to him and you're having this conversation with him and you want to talk about him, what is the truth of the matter? We want to talk about false accusations. We want to talk about evidence and witnesses and doing upholding a just system. But what if Andy is guilty?
Right.
What should happen to Andy?
Well, I mean, if he was with underage females, committed adultery, is he married? I don't even know.
Is that Sandy, bro?
Whatever. He's just Andy. He's just simply Andy now. Yeah. I mean, it'd be possible death penalty type stuff.
Right.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially with children.
Absolutely.
You know, if he was in the whole human trafficking side of things,
Yep.
definitely death penalty. And so you would want to preach the gospel and say, hey man, like you deserve death. Ultimately, you should be put to death and you're going to face Christ one day. You know, I wrote, you know, justice matters to God. It doesn't pretend that sin doesn't exist. It does. Sin in Scripture is lawlessness, and Jesus came to destroy lawlessness. 1 John says,
Right.
to destroy it, not like, oh well, hey, I'm good, man. I'm overlook that and be forgiving. No,
Not pat on the butt.
Yeah. Hey, good. Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't sin. You did some oopsie daisies.
Some oopsie
You
daisies.
just did some oopsie daisies, dude.
There are no oopsie daisies. Christ died on the cross. God didn't give a oopsie daisy.
Right.
You know, he paid the ultimate, the most innocent man, the only innocent man in history. True innocence.
Right.
Paid the ultimate cost, facing divine justice for us, because we couldn't face that. There was no possibility of restoration for us.
Right.
No potential for being made right with our Creator. If divine justice was meted out, we would be destroyed forever.
Yep.
We'd be ruined.
100%.
Yeah. And so that's the beauty of the cross. And at the same time, the terrifying reality of the cross, right, is that divine justice will be meted out. It's either going to be meted out on Christ and now you're in him because you have turned from your sin, your lawlessness, and understood that he paid the ultimate cost for you by bearing your sins on the cross and then raising again from the dead, proving that he was God in the flesh. And Paul says that his resurrection is the establishment in a sense, and it's also the declaration that Christ will be judge over the world. He rose from the dead, and this makes him judge over the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ruling at the right hand, right?
He rules at the right hand of the Father, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Accountability in that sense, just on the next one, is unavoidable. We're ultimately all going to be accountable. Matter of fact, that's how Solomon ends Ecclesiastes, that all sin, everything, we will stand before God and will be examined. Everything visible and invisible, anything, thought, word, or deed, right? Everything we've ever done in our life will be brought to an account. And if we're outside of Christ, divine justice will be meted out.
Just scary perspective, man.
Right.
Especially without Christ.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I know the human mind, the things that go through our hearts. You know, bad junk.
Yeah.
Right? Christ is good and forgiving and gracious.
Well, it's crazy that he is the King of Kings, the Lord of Glory, would have laid his own life down for his people and give you that opportunity. And all you have to do is humbly acknowledge the fact that you're a sinner, that you're a lawless person, that you love your sin, and you realize that it's wrong, and that you want to be made right with your Creator. And the only way to do that is by confessing Christ as Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, you died for me. You really did pay the ultimate fine for me. You suffered divine justice on my behalf so that I didn't have to. I wouldn't have had to, right?
That is the gospel.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without Christ, justice condemns us, and in Christ, justice saves us. I love that.
That is good.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts?
All good stuff. Study the Bible. You know, I'm sure for some listening, it's going to be challenging, you know,
Sure.
hearing these things.
Sure.
The application of God's law. There's a lot to discuss, a lot to think about. You know, we didn't come to conclusions overnight, that's for sure.
Mm-mm.
It took through, you know, study, working things out in community, reading tomes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, over there, you got more tomes
I
over
got more
there.
tomes over there, yes.
Yeah,
Good
and like
stuff.
working through stuff. Like, I mean, the Institutes of Biblical Law, for
And-
example. Like,
and
I read,
theonomy and Christian ethics.
yeah, I read all three of those volumes, and it was like eye-opening.
100%. I would say.
Should be 100% seminary reading
Mhm.
when it comes to law. Understanding the law, just fantastic.
Whether even like, let's
Yeah.
say you don't agree with the, you know, interpretation. Let's say, but at least you're working through it. At least you're like, okay, I see where he's going with that. I see the premise. I understand the foundation. I'm having a hard time, like maybe with his application of that, or
Sure.
how, a lot of people struggle with the penology side of things. Like, actually, how should we take God's law and then define
Y'all gonna be
punishments?
stoning everybody.
We know we have
Just stone everybody up in here.
nobody, and everybody's getting stoned. But yeah, so it's like, unless you're smoking weed, there's that though.
Right. There's that kind of stone. Yeah.
But,
Just leave those guys alone.
yeah, just leave them alone, bro. There's a bunch of stoners. But yeah, I think people struggle with that, how to properly apply it, from a punishment standpoint. But this is where hopefully what you see is we got a lot of work to do. A lot of reform needs to happen in our justice system. But this will at least give you a place to start thinking about these things more. We need that. We need more of that. Let's start thinking about this more together. I mean, we need to be truth tellers, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is Truth Teller Society.
We are the King's official truth teller society.
Yep. Amen.
And that's Christians. That's all Christians. We just need to stand firm in the truth,
Those listening, join us. Be part of the Truth Teller Society.
Join us. Absolutely.
We need more
people out there, man. And we want to help in any way we can. If you guys have any questions, comments, thoughts, I'd love to hear them, a different vantage point or perspective, areas where we can go to work. We'd love to come alongside of you and assist you. And again, even recommendations for ideas for future discussions like this. If there's things that you would really like to learn more about, I'd like to do a deeper dive in this stuff. It's a shame that we only have about an hour or so to really dive into this stuff. But, I've been encouraged to try to keep it at a half an hour. And I'm like, man, this stuff is it's good. It's just good. Like, I can go on for this stuff for hours, dude.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, and this is something I've been thinking about. I'm maybe thinking of doing something like a Patreon, like, discussion where we do open it up to people's questions and go into a deeper dive with some of this stuff.
Yeah,
Because,
cool.
you've studied a lot of this stuff out pretty in-depthly, and I have too. And I hate to just keep it at a surface level like we do in these, and go deeper, and maybe even make it a live stream, even like a Zoom call would be really neat, where we actually bring people in live to just talk.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, have discussions around it. That'd be really neat.
Totally down.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
Peace.
See ya.